Hello and welcome to the Crypto Club and Digital Assets weekly catch up on Zoom. It is Sunday, the 7th of July, 2024, and as is always the case with these sessions, we never quite know what we're going to be talking about. Really depends upon the audience and who comes along. So do join us in a future session. This is open to novices and experts alike. Typically, we talk about blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, ICOs, STOs, all sorts of three-letter acronyms, really. Some weeks we talk about central bank digital currencies, regulation, legislation, changes that are going on in the market, any crypto news that's happening with blockchains, whether they're layer one or layer two solutions. And also, if you're a novice and you're hearing these terms, you don't know what they mean, then come along and ask questions. Great way of learning. We also record these sessions, as you can see, on YouTube. But importantly, come to a future session, check in the link below on how to join us. So with that, let's see who's going to come and join us today. Hey, Eric, good morning.
So I'm actually on your island,
Oh, you're in
a
the
little bit north of you in Edinburgh.
okay, the top end, the cold end.
Yes, it's delightfully on hot.
Yeah, because I believe at the moment, California's got a heat wave at the moment, hasn't it?
Yeah, they're like 100 plus, and
Mhm.
I'm just I'm ecstatic not to be there.
Okay. Well,
I had
Edinburgh's certainly much cooler.
yes, definitely. I had a speech to deliver in Glasgow, and my girlfriend said if we're gonna fly all the way to Great Britain, we should probably spend a little time there.
Excellent.
And so,
So is
yeah, I
it
have.
a crypto thing that you're talking about in Glasgow?
Yeah, I was addressing the CEOs of all the companies that we've been acquiring.
Hmm.
It was really more like talk about money because they're all busy with what they're doing, which is primarily rewards, loyalty rewards points and things like that,
Okay.
and credit card interfaces and all the tech, all the fintech around that stuff.
Okay.
And crypto isn't really a thing for them, but that was, part of what I was there to talk about.
It must be a natural extension for the payment service providers and the payment processors to extend the kind of like the channels to to move on to cater for crypto if there's sufficient demand. Is that the kind of the vision, do you think, or?
Yeah, I mean, it goes hand in hand. I mean, the reality is that crypto is going to obliterate the whole loyalty rewards program system.
Mhm.
Uh, the same functionality and value will be there, but on steroids, right? Because of the underlying technology,
Mhm.
and a lot of it is really a non-crypto fight. It's a fight to standardize and um, to coalesce power.
Okay.
So that's to a large extent what we're doing. We're acquiring companies so that we can just tell them what to do.
Okay. Because it's going to be interesting across my multi-industry experience. Standards is the one thing that really makes a difference. Because once you've got standards of communications, of messages, of data, and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
you can commoditize, you can homogenize, and you can make it
Yeah,
far,
it's
far
not just a
you can
question of
democratize as well.
it's not just a question of the technology.
Mhm.
It's the fact that the space is very badly fragmented with a bunch of little fiefdoms,
Mhm.
and so it just needs to be, we're playing the King Arthur game here.
In terms of having a round table.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah. The Knights of of Camelot and that, and bringing them together, it makes a great deal of sense. Because
Exactly.
my experience in the payments world, exactly as you say, it's surprising for something that for the public facing side of things where it works really well, just how actually
Hmm.
fragmented and challenging it is to make it look that easy. It is interesting.
Yeah, the user experience for loyalty rewards is absolutely horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have this situation where you get some points and you don't even know what they're worth.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you can't know what they're worth until you've decided what you're going to do with them.
Yeah.
And then you can't, you can only use them here and only under this set of conditions, like I've got points, but I can fly only if there's availability, which gives precedence to any paying customer, and only when it's Tuesdays and the moon is blue, right? And then beyond that, the damn things expire.
Mm.
Every year it's fuck, I gotta use these points or I gotta pay or I gotta do something, or they just go poof, right? And where do I manage them? Oh, I have to go to the American Express page, right? Oh, I've got an account on there, and I can't find anywhere where the damn points are managed. It turns out it's AmericanExpressRewards.com, and I need a completely different account to manage that shit, right? So it's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I remember with British Airways, they had a loyalty card system that I felt was designed to generate disloyalty because
Yes, exactly.
it was that unfriendly.
Yeah,
You'd keep the only emails you would get off them is when they tell you that your points are about to expire unless you take another flight with them. It's like
yeah.
that feels more like a threat than a loyalty bonus to me. Yeah,
It's some
it's
kind of
fascinating.
extortion, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it was like oh well, you've got this many points so far, and you've accrued this many points, but this type of point doesn't count for this, and this type of point doesn't count for that. It's like
Yeah, it's
what?
insane. It's
Yep,
insanely stupid.
yep,
So you can imagine that there's like billions of dollars worth of value out there in this form, and what we're doing is we're saying, okay, forget this. It's it's a V dollar.
hmm
So when you think about it's a V euro, right? It's a V pound. When you think about it, you say, well, I know what a pound is. I know it from the unit of account measure perspective that I know what things are worth in pounds, and if I have V pounds, it's presumably the same, and you're correct, right? It also means I can presumably spend it anywhere. Well, that there you'd be correct too, right? And the whole management aspect of it is like, well, I've got this wallet, and V dollars come in from all these different businesses where I shop, and they all look the same. They're fungible, right? So you don't have that issue of, oh, these are Delta points and these are American Airlines points, and you have this
hmm
non-fungibility of the pools. So that in itself adds an incredible amount of value. And then that actually serves as the base platform for something far, far more powerful.
Mm. Well, it's interesting. Again, this is where people don't understand that the primary goal of loyalty points has got nothing to do with loyalty. It's all
Yeah,
about data acquisition about customer behavior, and it's
yeah,
just that they kind of give you a few pennies or whatever. And you're right, that's what I used to quite like about some of the airline schemes. Like I think it was like Alliance, so Star Alliance, which was like British Midland, Lufthansa, various European airlines. At least there, it was interchangeable across the platforms. But you can't use your British Airways points on Star Alliance flights and vice versa and that. And
yeah.
it's exactly as you say, it gets kind of frustrating. And then you look at as well on things like um, retail stores, so Tesco, Sainsbury's, these big chain stores, where every so often they'll make an announcement about how like one loyalty point was worth the equivalent of like 0.01 pence, and now it's worth 0.001 pence. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
hang
exactly.
on,
Which is
you've just devalued what
just
I
to
had.
reprice stuff. Yeah, exactly. So
It,
it's that most consumers are like, you know what, fuck this shit. I don't care, right? Don't bother me with this.
yep.
But then what happens is that if you have a system where these points are well managed and when there's less cognitive load and all this kind of stuff, then it becomes truly competitive. And
Well,
that's essentially what we're doing.
okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that develops because I think there is an opportunity to totally reshape the loyalty points market. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been involved in that sector on and off, over 30 plus years, and it hasn't really greatly changed. I don't think. It's
Yeah,
been fascinating. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where you go with. Is it, if you remember correctly, company's called Vow, isn't it? Is it Voucher?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Vow.foundation, you'll find the website.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. Well, we can check that out and see how you're going on. And Sue just been joined by JT as well. Hey, JT.
Hey,
He's not watching the football. That's good.
actually, yeah, but it's on silent.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody else is except me. I could care less.
Yeah, it's all right, Eric. Because I think JT was watching the football. I think it was last week, and I asked him which teams were playing, and I think he said, was it Serbia or somebody? But he didn't
Oh,
say who the other team
nasty.
was, and I didn't have a clue. And he said England, of course. It's like, how would I know? I don't take any interest. So, uh,
Yeah.
all good fun. So what else is going on in the crypto world for you then, Eric, at the moment? Is it focusing around getting this off the ground and around the world for you?
Oh yeah, no, we have so many initiatives. I'm working on really interesting stuff, like amazing stuff. Um, and some of it is mostly conceptual at this point, and some of it is me sort of getting my hands dirty with the code. So I'm really sort of um, investing time with several of the Cosmos projects.
Okay.
The whole Cosmos ecosystem is it's really interesting.
And are you plugging into the crypto ecosystem up in Scotland at the moment? Because there's quite a few people active up there as well. Or you not have the opportunity for that?
No, so my partner is one of my partners is here in Glasgow, and there are a bunch of teams that are here in the UK. In fact, we're doing I think £6 million or £8 million a month worth of redemptions at this point.
Wow.
So that's it's a going concern, right?
Mhm.
It's a real thing, and there's a ton of stuff happening in Denmark. Denmark's doing amazing things, and India as well. And so we're actually just gearing up at this point to roll this out in America,
Okay.
which is nominally my responsibility, my purview, but the reality is that most of the work has been done by other people. So
But in terms of, I
I
mean,
don't
obviously,
mind.
obviously the technology is the same, but the regulatory environments and the consumer
Yeah,
environments, that they're quite dramatically different marketplaces, aren't they? In behavior and
they
that.
they are different, and we've had to get legal opinions in each of the jurisdictions where we're playing. Although most recently we're consolidating um, our legal framework under Denton's. So Denton has presence in the U.S. as well. So
Hmm.
we're switching away to them.
Yeah, because I guess Denmark's going to be an interesting one, because of the whole Scandinavian market, who tend to they all close down in July, don't they? Is it July and August? I used to find a
August,
lot,
yeah.
Denmark, Sweden, Norway.
The
It,
entire the whole of Europe shuts down for August.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Or
where they all go.
certainly the whole of Northern Europe does. I'm not so sure that France and Germany do so much. But yeah, I
Oh no, they
remember.
do definitely.
Yeah,
Everyone's gone in August in France.
France is the main one that totally shuts down in August.
Yeah.
Okay. And they've just had their latest elections, haven't they,
In
as well? So,
yes, in Northern Europe, depends which country, and they really never shut down in the Northern Europe. Yeah,
oh no, no, no. Sweden, I'm sure does.
yeah, I'm saying not all of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
shut
yeah.
down. Yeah,
No, it came as a surprise to me when I was doing some work in Sweden and Denmark about how it was that they basically say, don't speak to us in August kind of thing because they go away for like several weeks and that kind of thing. So interesting.
Yeah.
So what's going on in your world, JT? Anything exciting? Anything interesting?
yeah. I'm building some stuff, man. Trying still to move forward with relays.
Hmm.
very hard to bring to market, since March. I mean, people thought we were really in the bull market, but it was all driven by actually not truly real stuff with the ETFs, And
Yeah.
you saw the news this week that BlackRock came out and said the great majority of the buyers, 80%, were really retail and
Mhm.
not institutions, And uh, in the beginning of the year, they were saying it was all driven by institutions, That's a bit weird.
Mm.
I don't know how they can get away with it, but hey, they are big. So they said one thing and they knew exactly who were the buyers. If there's
Yeah.
one thing in crypto, we might not know, or kind of for a while, might not know who the buyers are. But with ETFs, they actually know, So I don't
Yeah,
understand
that's right.
why they said that, the first time that it dipped the market, it went to 58. They said that was pretty much all being fueled by institutional buyers, or institutional buyers are coming through. But this week they put out that I don't know if it was them or yes, it was them, and then it was one of the media, CoinDesk, I think they picked it up and they dig into it and they found and they quoted them, 80% were pretty much retail and it was crypto retail,
Okay.
which is a bit
Well,
fascinating if you
there was
think about,
also there's probably a good percentage of that was all of the liquidation from Grayscale. So there were a bunch of people who, obviously didn't want to pay the fees at Grayscale anymore now that they have an actual choice. And so that was a lot of that volume.
Yeah,
I think,
not really. If you think, well, look, if you look at the Grayscale and how much it was on Grayscale, yeah, that's not 300, $400 billion, at all. That's not even 10%. Yeah.
mm,
You estimated is about between 2 to 3% impact from Grayscale, yeah? Because if you see how the market moved since November last year until April, it was really quite a lot, quite a lot of money came back into Bitcoin and in crypto in general. But that one is fascinating because when they say it was mainly uh, retail, crypto retail people that actually were buying, like 80%, I was surprised because I always thought, retail wouldn't buy paper, they prefer to have the real thing. I- I'm I'm surprised more and more, what's happening in the market.
But you look at the numbers, and like you got, I've just pulled up a ETF tracker here, and we've got BlackRock, who are talking like a 1.5 billion volume in the last 24 hours, which is reasonably substantial, given they've got like 17 billion in total. So it does seem there's some chopping around, but it's as always, isn't it? That this is why I'm not a fan of looking at prices, because people keep coming up with theories as to why things
Yeah,
are going up, why things are going
exactly.
down, and they don't actually know. And you look at, there's a whole load of stuff about Mount Gox at the moment, and they're talking about how the funds are being returned on that. There's been some really old
German government selling,
German government, yeah.
all of that
Um,
stuff.
and it's like this is where whenever anyone says to me what's caused this price movement, and it's all there's a butterfly somewhere, it's flapped its wings and something's happened.
Yeah, I explained several.
You don't ultimately know.
I explained already how it happens.
Yeah.
It's mainly driven by very, very, very large hedge funds, and it's
Mm.
all about liquidations. They don't give a monkeys if Bitcoin is at 30K or 70K, as long as they can. With these market moves, they can make $1 billion, every
Yep.
time they move it, and that's what they did. $1.3 billion last week in
Mm.
liquidations. I mean, it's fascinating, but it's just about liquidity. And I do not believe it's all a coincidence. The government, Mount Ross, they take advantage of those things. Yeah, I'm not saying it's coordinated. I would find very, very hard to believe it's coordinated, but they just take advantage of this move because at any point in time, they know how many longs and shorts there are in all the exchanges because they connect to the API of all exchanges. So it's very easy to understand, there is 2-3 billion in longs. Yeah, let's go. That's what they do. They dump. This is the thing that people don't understand. A lot of people. There was already 17 million bitcoins minted by 2017. So the large whales can move the markets in whatever direction they want. With the people running the bots, of course. So it's very, very easy for them to manipulate the market. And the way I spotted this back in 2020, beginning of 2021, and nobody believed me. I challenged people and said, put the top 50 coins on 50 screens, okay? And the graph, the profile looks the same. Mathematically, that's impossible,
Yep.
It doesn't, the market doesn't move in all of them at the same time, which means it is bought, with large pools of stables, and large pools of the actual coins, and then just buy and sell and they bet, whatever way they want to go. And that's why the liquidations, if you look at the liquidation heat map during those times, it's just insane, the amount of liquidations,
Well, this is the thing, that this is why every so often, I mean, I haven't got 50 graphs on the screen right now, but I've got the top 10 or whatever, and all the graphs look pretty similar to each other. The ones that don't, Tether and USDC,
Yeah, stables,
well,
of course.
they're stable coins, so
Yeah.
you don't expect them to be moving at all. But you're right that in general, the rest of them are all pretty similar, and yet they're on different blockchains, which is why you'd expect Tron to be behaving much, much differently because it's more of a gaming coin. And you've got something like, is it Mortal Hamster Combat or something that's launching at the moment, where you'd have thought that would have a bigger impact, but you can see they're not. That all the graphs look pretty similar to each other. So I agree. This is where I think you get these crypto experts who just
Yeah, I mean, this is come with TA, and I keep telling people, TA is a faff, it's all about FA, for them, these guys, that's why they spread the risk, not spread the risk. Actually, the liquidations are done in a specific way. So when they do this FA, it's not actually quite advanced, but it's very, very concise what they do. And the most fascinating thing for me is the timing for them, It's always when there is some news around, and then people blame on the news,
Yeah.
When it's so obvious, you just need to look at the screen,
I did an exercise a while ago where I looked at Bitcoin's price just because that's the easiest one to track, type thing. And I took a look at all the peaks and drops over a 12-month period. And there's a website, I can't remember which one it is, that basically gives you what the news headlines were for every day of the week. And so I looked at all the peaks and all the troughs to see what were the news items that happened just before them. And do you know what it was? Consistently, I think this happened 6 times when I tracked it through the year. Of all the Bitcoin spikes, what news had just been announced the day before? This was
in
what
the end, it's all about FA, nothing else.
No. So you know what it was? The single news item, and this was consistent, and you can check this out on the BBC. Everything. The single news item that every time this particular news item came out, Bitcoin went up in price. It was Premier League football player announcements. It's like, what on earth has that got to do with crypto? But every time you looked at a spike, the day before, you could find a Premier League football announcement. It's got no connection. And yet it was just around. It's a bit like Nicolas Cage and swimming pool deaths kind of thing. It just shows that there's a correlation but no causation whatsoever. So I'm just moving around at the moment because the computer keeps saying it's about to run out of power, which would be embarrassing. So,
Yeah,
But I mean, I think regardless of these machinations that go on in these markets. The bottom line is that to effect liquidations, they first had to buy, and
Yeah.
once they've liquidated, they just have to buy again, right? So the money kind of swishes in and swishes out, and the people with weak hands, they make some money or they lose their assets or whatever. Who cares? And everybody else just has their heads sort of whipping this way and that way. But if you just don't bother with all that stuff, the longer term is, well, it is what we know it is, right?
Yeah, of course. I totally agree, Eric. It's just I've been telling people to not bet, you know. It's if they
And
want to.
not trade. Because the problem is trading, right?
No,
This
trading's
idea
okay.
that
But Eric, if you
not
think about it, trade is not
trading is
bad.
timing the
Yeah.
market.
No, trade is
Trading is
not.
timing the market, and if you can't move the market like these people do, then you're completely at the mercy of them, right?
Yeah.
They're
So
large enough they can make money for them, but you can't do that.
yes. So uh, betting, you know, going long, going short, it's what causes these big swings because for them, there's no reason to swing either down or up unless if they need liquidity for something. Okay. So
Yeah.
trading is not bad. Trading is essential for any market. Without trading, there is no market. Okay. It is super essential to have the trading. The problem is people are greedy, humans are greedy, yeah, and then people are going to bet, they're going to put longs and shorts, and this is where they take advantage because for them it doesn't really matter if they have large liquidity pools. You know, they just give collateral, and you can actually observe this. Okay, they give their BTC collateral to some of the services out there. Okay, and they get some stables back. With those stable backs, they actually bet and they buy again, okay, whatever crypto. And then, of course, there is interest. So for them, they rely on the people betting, yeah, on going long or going short, so that they can actually liquidate those people, you know, give the collateral back, okay, pay the interest, and then they take a profit. And that's how they make money. And believe me, they make shitloads of money by doing that, yeah. And that's what fascinates me. It's how efficient that these bots have become. You know, I mean, it's so easy to do it. Once you have enough liquidity, you can just borrow in a half. You just go there with your bots, borrow, give collateral, get whatever you want back, buy, sell, liquidate whoever you want. And so I'm a true believer that in markets, you know, it's okay to trade, but I'm totally against all of this leveraging and people betting
I
because
think that I think the word trading though has a couple of senses. There is legitimate trading by market participants, and there's trading by speculators, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
in a gold market, for example, you have guys who are actually mining, and they're going to be selling their commercials, right? And there's the people who make jewelry who actually buy this, and the people who make all other kinds of things. So you have this actual commerce going on that absolutely requires trading, right? And then you have the speculative side, people who run hedge books, or who are merely taking positions in between the supply side and the demand side. In Bitcoin, we don't really have a commercial side. We have the miners who need to sell, but we don't have a commercial use for Bitcoin. So to a large extent, it's all speculation, and that kind of trading, I think, is very different, right? Because it's one thing to trade when you know that you're going to need the particular commodity in the future. If if you need X number of tons of silver every month, then you can say, well, right now the futures contracts on this stuff are cheap, and I'm going to need it anyway. So that's kind of like a trade. But in Bitcoin, that doesn't exist. So um, when I talk to people, I think the idea of trading is that is that idea of the how long is the coast of Norway, right? If you measure it from Bergen to Tromsø, it's a certain length, but then you realize that at some altitude it's that distance. But then as you come down, you realize, oh no, it goes in, and so it's got all these inlets, and so it actually turns out to be longer. And the lower depth that you go, the longer the coast gets. And so the idea of trading is that if we just go down to enough level, we can actually get more length out of this thing, right? But the problem is you have to time it now. And you can't time it when you have essentially no market intelligence. That's my argument against trading. I think, yes, trading is necessary, and certainly the miners will always be in that kind of market, but most people in crypto don't need to trade, and they probably shouldn't.
But
Yeah, so look, I don't disagree with majority of what you said. Yeah, I totally agree. With Bitcoin, it's the demand that drives it, isn't it? Real use case of Bitcoin, well, it's just a storage of value now. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
people trying, oh, it's a way of moving money across the world. Yeah, it's okay, but you can't use it on a daily basis. So there is a use case for it, okay? It's easy
Sure.
to move money from A to B, yeah, across the world, and it happens, well, ideally should happen faster, but 10 minutes, it's okay. Comparing with the old banking system, it's much better, Yeah. So there is a two things there. One is what it was created for. There's a use case for it. And second, it has changed over time to be more a store of value. Like gold is a store of value as well. That's why there are so many vaults out there filled with gold, right? Gold is not just needed because you need to create some good conductors of energy, or whatever, or whatever you want to do with it. But there's people who use it for storage as well. So it's all about use case and demand for any asset classes like that, right? So, of course, we evolve into other cryptocurrencies as well. And we can discuss a lot about that. The majority are useless, as we know. And it's all driven by exactly what you said, speculators. But any good asset class is going to have speculators. Yeah. Speculators don't go into an asset class that doesn't have demand. So it comes back to what we said. It's all about human greediness, nothing else, and that's why for them it's just about FA. They don't care if Bitcoin's 100K or 20K. It needs to make financial sense for them, and they need to make money. They can't scare the market either, So it's fascinating, but at the same time, I'm quite worried because it could destroy this asset class very, very fast, very fast.
Well, you still got a thing, haven't you? Because I've long argued that markets exist while they exist, which sounds a bit flippant.
Yeah.
But, it comes down to, sometimes people have said, well, Bitcoin's a bit like Pokemon, the way you buy and sell Pokemon cards. Well, yeah, but if there's enough people who want to buy and sell them, then there is a market, and some people have made businesses out of it, and some people run exchanges on it. But if one day everyone says, actually, I'm not interested in Pokemon anymore, the new big thing is whatever else, then it will shift. And it's all ultimately programmable ones and zeros in some way, which makes it interesting. But you look at, just before you joined, JT, I was mentioning about the latest Tron developments. There's Hamster Combat, which is like Telegram kind of based gaming. But they've got like 239 million users in under 3 months, and it uses the Tron network, and they're going to be doing an airdrop in there. That again, is there a demand for that? Is there a valid use case? Maybe, but there's 200 million people who are playing it, so that's enough. It's a bit like how we've said before now about the thing that gives the US dollar or the GB pound or any other currency its value is that there's enough perceived value in something for people to be willing to use it. And it's the same with any cryptocurrency, crypto token, or whatever. Well, in that case, let's close call off. Have a great day, everybody.
See ya.
See you
Bye.
around.
Thank you.
Bye for
Yeah,
now.
Larry.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye.